Uh, my advice for young and aspiring entrepreneurs would be I always say this: your company should be in your pocket, in your car, in your home, and in your workplace, especially for these small businesses. Because you have to know if you get an emergency, how you can respond to it very efficiently.
And I'd say this about two of the biggest things in our lives. If you want a woman, the first thing you stop doing is chasing them. And if you want money, the first thing you stop doing is chasing it.
Okay.
And when you're in this business and you understand the passion for me is the freedom to live the life I want to.
The smartest people are not the people who know everything. The smartest people are the people who know what they don't know. Because if you know what you don't know, then you'll know where you need to seek help from.
Right.
And that's what
100%.
makes you very strong.
The first thing he taught was your home is not an asset.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a minute.
I thought it was an asset.
Right. And he said that.
Yeah.
Even accountants and CPAs will tell you it's an asset.
Yeah.
And when he gives you a simple definition, if it's not putting money in your pocket, it's not an asset. I was like, wow.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. This is Green Lights Nation. My name is Pascal, and I'm joined today by Anthony Mukuna and my brother LeBron.
Yes, sir.
So, actually, I don't want to introduce you. You guys are going to introduce yourselves. Let's go. Yeah. Okay, Anthony.
I'm Anthony Mukuna. As you know, I'm an accountant, CPA in the Treasure Valley, and I'm so excited to be part of this conversation because we just want to have an interesting conversation that could inspire people who have the vision to have an entrepreneurial life like we guys have.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, what about you, brother?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. My name is LeBron, owner of several companies, and yeah, it was my dream to be an entrepreneur, and I'm living the life now and living this scary life that we're doing and trying to do it well.
Fantastic. Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, tell us more about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I moved to the Treasure Valley in 2019, right before the pandemic. I owned a business in Los Angeles, LA County. I was a partner with a small movie theater. We had 3 screens. We did events, and we rented out locations. We worked with the city. That partnership I learned a lot from. It didn't work out really well, so we decided that we're going to move here for business reasons, a lot of business reasons. I'm also a gun enthusiast, so I said this will be a good place for me to exercise my business acumen in a state that's a little bit more welcoming for small businesses than California was, and it's been great. And I met Anthony early on. I'm a big proponent of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and one of his principles, he says, pay your advisors well. And I hope I pay this man enough to do the miracles he does, because he's just been influential and very important in our growth. He's been there since my first little small business.
Dang, those are very good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Strong
Flowers.
and kind words, yeah. And
I'll
thanks.
give him his flowers. He deserves them.
Yeah, and I appreciate it very, very much. And just to his point, like I'm a CPA, I own my own small CPA firm, and my niche has always been like small entrepreneur who are trying to launch a business. And I've had the opportunity to see business grow, and then I'm always proud of you two, because I kept telling you, because I mean what you've been able to accomplish is inspirational, because it's not easy. You know, starting a business is not easy, but when you have the passion, when you have the energy, and it can be done. And to give it back the flower, I'm also very proud of what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you,
and
sir.
that's why I've been pushing for us to have this conversation.
Yes.
Because I
Very
feel like
honored.
it's a story that needs to be told.
Yes, thank you.
Correct. Oh, wow.
Same to you too, Pascal.
I'll take the floor a little bit. Now, guys, this is like we're exchanging some great information here. Me personally, I also started my healthcare business, and it was not easy, especially mental health. It's not like how you can only just start, get a place, and put the guys in the house and start, and that's it. No, for healthcare, let's say mental health is a different beast. You have to really know what they need before you can even provide any service to them.
Right.
And that is a big challenge for me. But you know what? It's a learning process.
Yeah.
Every single day is a learning process. And I thank Anthony, actually. He's been part of this struggle for some time now, and it was not easy. He can tell you it was not easy at all. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it because I've seen a lot of people starting business and who have failed. So it's easy to start a business and fail, and so when you see people being successful at it, it doesn't mean like it just happens naturally for everybody. But I think one question that I have for you: how does it feel not to have to clock in and out as a business owner?
It's freedom.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think people understand or don't understand, and I'd say this about two of the biggest things in our lives. If you want a woman, the first thing you stop doing is chasing them. And if you want money, the first thing you stop doing is chasing it.
Okay.
And when you're in this business and you understand, the passion for me is the freedom to live the life I want to. I work more hours now than when I work for someone else, but I get to choose where those hours are. I get to choose and stop and say, I'm going to go take my family to Disneyland because they've been great for the last couple of years and we haven't done anything. And then when I get back knowing, okay, I'm going to have to put in 12-hour days for a while to make that work, you know. But to answer your question, I love not having to clock in because it's working for somebody. It's always you have to clock in those days when it's like, I need to be at my kid's recital right now.
Yeah.
Or I am not feeling good and I'm not going to give this company or its clients the best, but my boss doesn't care and I need the money. You know, I don't like that. I like being like, my wife's sick and I need to take care of her, or my family needs me and I'm going to move ahead and do what I need to do. So yeah, that's what I like about it.
Wow.
And what about you, Pascal? How does it feel not having to clock in and out?
You know, not to clock in and out. Let's say that's the American story. Clock in, clock out. Damn, it feels relieving that you don't have to clock in, clock out. You can wake up anytime you go to work. Sometimes I'm here as early as 5 in the morning, or I'm here at 12 p.m. Or at 11. I clock in anytime. Yeah, so that's the biggest freedom you can have when you own a company. But you should be very disciplined because I always say this: your company should be in your pocket, in your car, in your home, and in your workplace, especially for these small businesses. Because you have to know if you get an emergency, how you can respond to it very efficiently. Then, okay, give me 20 minutes, I'll be in front of my computer. No. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull over. That's how I operate. Yeah.
So, and then the two of you, I mean, I've had the pleasure to work with you. And then I think I'll just have a few questions for you because I'm looking at it in a standpoint of like less of an entrepreneur, but someone who actually have seen the growth. So, first of all, what was the biggest motivating factor for you to decide like, okay, I want to start a company?
So it was a long time ago. I was watching Anthony Robbins on TV, and he was talking about his book, The Giant Within. And he talked about entrepreneur life, and he talked about what it means to own your own destiny, to, you know, plot your own course, to build something that serves you. And that got me interested. But then I ran into E-Myth. And I am the biggest E-Myth proponent you're going to meet. So E-Myth is the entrepreneurial myth. It was written back in the 70s, I think, and then he rewrote it in the 80s called the E-Myth Revisited. And that basically says that the entrepreneurial myth is that just because you can do the task of the work, right? So because you can maybe get people connected with healthcare regarding mental health, and you can take care of their taxes or arrange their their finances doesn't mean you know how to run the business of that, right? So when he taught that your business should give you more life, that's what woke me up. So what motivated me was, hey, like I grew up traveling because my mom was a Rolling Stone. And I ended up like traveling because I had to travel as a kid. So I said, well, I want to be able to travel and I want to be able to go where I want to go. So having what motivated me was being able to have enough streams of income coming in where I can actually enjoy the life that I'm living because of the money, as opposed to working for 60 years for the man and then hoping he'll keep me along to get a decent retirement. And then now my knees don't work anymore. I can't go to Disneyland with my family, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't with that. So that's what I wanted to do. That's what my motivation was.
Okay, interesting. And I know when we met a few years ago, you talked to me about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
It's also a book that I read.
Yes.
So when I saw that, because that book could be like sense of revolt when you read it.
Yes.
Like, you know, you cannot be no longer you're working for a man forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then it's always like when you read that book, it could be a very good wake up call.
It changed my life.
It changed your life?
100%.
That book?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because, you know, like you said, you know, you grew up with punch in, punch out. You grew up with the American dream is to own a home. The first thing he taught was your home is not an asset.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute.
I thought it was an asset.
Right. And he said that.
Yeah.
Even accountants and CPAs will tell you it's an asset.
Yeah.
And when he gives you a simple definition, if it's not putting money in your pocket, it's not an asset. I was like, wow. So this of blowing my mind, and he starts the book off talking about how corporations were formed. Like the first ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, that's a corporation. People didn't know that, right? And how the biggest clue to me is growing up, my mom would always say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That was my mom's statement. And I always wonder, well, why is that? And what I realize is that what happens is if you get income that you don't work for, and that exceeds the amount that it costs to live, then you got all day to figure out how to make more money. That was the thing that hit me. That's where I'm at now. And it feels weird because I have 5 businesses technically, and I don't do most of the work. And I'm sitting around like, what do I do now? And I'm not at the point where the businesses are so blaring that I can leave the country for 4 years and come back and it's better. But I'm at the point where I have to get in there and door knock or mop a floor, you know? So Rich Dad, Poor Dad taught me that there's a place that I can get to where I am sitting around figuring out, okay, well, how do I build this marketing machine bigger? Or how do I put my people in a place where they take pride of ownership, right? Well, in order to get richer, you got to be able to have the time to sit around and figure out how to get richer. And that's what that book taught me.
100%. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very good book if you have a chance to read it. But to you, Pascal, like, what was the biggest revolting factor that told you, like, okay, I want to start a business now? Just screw the rest. I want to do it on my own.
I would say, first of all, disrespect. Yes. Because I was tired of being disrespected. And I was rotating in the same place every year.
They call that the rat race.
Yeah. You're just turning around.
You're just a little hamster on a wheel going nowhere, right?
Yeah. And every year I could see my income the same. Every year I could see my life the same. I could never make a move. You know, I worked for somebody who really, I can say, punched me in the nuts. And that was a wake-up call. I was like, you know what? This is it.
Yeah.
So I did not know how to start. I just said, let me go start.
Right. I think a big spot for me too was leaving the old town. I had several businesses. I had taken that business, and I didn't know this at the time, but he had decided in his heart he wasn't going to succeed. And he thought, there's no way this business is going to work out. This guy's going to put a little bit of cash infusion and then I'll get out. Well, we were like, okay, you know, his brother was sick. Go take care of your brother. We'll take care of it. Well, 3 months later, we had turned the whole thing around and he didn't know how to handle that. So long story short, I got here and I had to get a job. I couldn't come out here and just start a business. So, you know, my biggest catalyst was like, I knew I was an entrepreneur, but I was back and forth. Well, maybe I can get a job. Maybe. I was working for this company. I won't mention who it was. And I just will tell you that who the manager was ambiguous. Mm-hmm. And who was dictating what was ambiguous. And I did not do well in that business. There was a lot of problems also I had, but the way I was treated, it wasn't disrespect, but it was like, I'm sitting here like, well, this would work better if you did this. I know this works better, not because of my own opinion, because I do the research. I read all kind of books. I talk to people who are successful. I figure out, I go to conferences. I was just one yesterday. So I know what I'm talking about. I don't want to argue with these guys. These guys are making millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. They don't effing care what I think.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah.
They could care less. And even if I did, I worked at a large bank. I won't mention them either.
Yeah, no
I actually helped them save them $5 million the first year on one idea, and they forgot about me 2 seconds later. So I get that. Mm-hmm. I get that disrespect, not being appreciated. Yeah. And that was my final, when they fired me, that was my last call. And I said, I'm never getting a job again. If I have to Uber, at least that's my own time. Yeah. I'll Uber and DoorDash. And that's what I did until I started that logistics company. And I did that until the Department of Transportation changed the laws. I just met another person who was doing compliance, and they got out of the game because the Department of Transportation changed the laws. So I said, screw it. I'm starting another one. I went back to Ubering, and next thing you know, I'm starting a commercial cleaning company. And I'm like, I'm not going to work for the man again because of that disrespect, because of that ambiguity in what we're doing, and working for companies where they make enough money, they really don't care. They don't have to care. Yeah. Why? They don't have to care. So this system doesn't work, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're getting their bonuses, so who cares?
And then, just everything you said is right on point. And then on top of that is that, I think I've argued with a couple of people in the past where I was telling people that, if you aspire to be like rich in life, you will never get rich with a W-2 job.
Right.
Yeah, your salary is set, and then it's just decided by whoever owns the whole system. But as a business owner, your potential is unlimited. Yeah. You can, it's just up to you.
Right.
How much work you want to put into
the
business could determine how much money you could bring in. So that's also could be another motivating factor. And then, but going back to your journey, and you've been in the business for
it's coming to
2 years.
3 years.
3 years, and you.
2.5, 3 years.
2.5, yeah. Close. Still fairly new. But what were the mistakes that you thought you did in the early stage of your business? Like when you look back 2-3 years from now, I should have done this differently as I was launching the company.
This might sound arrogant, but I failed so many times in the past. This one, I'm not there yet. I love the way I started. I started the way E-Myth says you should, which is go find out what works best, don't do it. And that's an insanely controversial thing. I've had my friends yell at me about that. There's things in my business I have no idea how it works. But I found the best way, and I trained my people to do it. So what was your question again? I want to get back to it.
What were the mistakes that you think you made early on?
I'll talk about the business before then, which was I got into a business with somebody I didn't share values.
Okay.
So I made sure this time that me and my wife, who started this, and then my managers who are now running my 3 businesses, and my VA, who's kind of technically running the other 2, I made sure that we shared values. I made sure that there was a clear understanding of what the expectations were and how do we measure when we get there, right? I made sure that everybody was bought in financially and emotionally, right? So really now I don't have any regrets because the businesses grew so fast. Like you saw me, I took my commercial business and I think we grossed second year $2 million. I wasn't what we brought home, because some taxes hit you, right? But we got some tax situations. We got tax situations to deal with. But I did that because I learned from the past.
Yeah.
Right? the mistake I made before this, and I'm sure there'll be some things maybe 2 years down the line where I'm like, oh, I'm regret I did that. But right now, where I'm at, we're soaring. We're doing really well. We're even turning around some of the things that my wife's businesses were having challenges because of the mistakes I made before. And the first thing is be clear on what you want. What is a win for you? A lot of business owners, we come from that emotion of, man, I don't know if I can curse, but, forget that boss. I said, that's not what I said. I didn't say it like that. It's nice and respectful.
Yeah.
Right. But I was really glad they did fire me. What I did is I sat down and I said, well, what do I want? And how do I know when I've achieved that goal? Because a lot of entrepreneurs move off that emotion and we just know how we want to feel, right? I want to feel abundant, right? I want to feel like I don't have to think about that business. Like the CEO or the office manager running it, right? But what does that mean? E-Myth teaches you logistically so. What are the numbers? What does that mean? One of the things that E-Myth teaches you is document the thought process of the business owner. If you want your office manager to make the same thinking that you do when you process it, you say you have a challenging customer and that customer is someone you can't get rid of. You can't say, well, screw you, I'm going to fire you, right?
You need his money.
You need this money. And they're being difficult and they're a good customer. Like if you do your avatar work and you realize what your customers are, this is a good customer. It's just one of those ones that are being difficult or we made a mistake, right? And how do I want to be viewed when we're done with that customer, right? What does it mean for my office manager to make the same decisions I would have made or even better one based on my values? I would say get clear on that. So my biggest regret in the past has been not getting clear on what everybody's expectations are and what looks like a win so that we can celebrate that, codify it, make it a standard and move on. I've seen too many people celebrate the same wins. And next thing you know, now you have a new set of problems. You got so used to celebrating that old win, you don't know now that COVID's here how to adjust.
Yep.
Because I adjusted during 2008 crash, and I brought myself from zero to several $100,000 in building several businesses with that, and then got into a bad relationship. I had a bad relationship and had to get out. But I also was able to pivot with 2008. I mean, with the 2000 and just 2020 with
COVID.
With COVID. So it's really being nimble and knowing what means to win. Because if you get stuck in old winning, you get stuck in old thinking. Because the body likes to go back to what works.
Yep. Yeah. You need to have a proactive vision.
Exactly.
Don't let this short-term success blind you because you might have upcoming challenges you don't realize. Right.
So like when I went with the movie theater, the first thing we did to turn it around is we changed it from this boutique to, why don't you bring your kids here? Because it served wine, we served food, we had recliners, right? And it was really cool for eclectic people to take a really cool girl on a date on, but eclectic people don't have money most of the time. They're off trying to be starving artists or whatever. Yeah. So I changed the mentality of the brand and made it a family event. We did a family movie, and that one movie changed it around. And then I said, okay, we have Uber now. So a family can come, have a few drinks with their family, and then Uber home because with their kids. So I changed that around. Then we focused more on the food, and then we brought in kids stuff because he wanted to be more eclectic again. Well, they don't like kids meals. Well, somebody who wants to sit on a love seat with their kids, they need popcorn and sugary drinks to keep their kids occupied. So we changed that mentality and that culture.
Okay.
Right? So I got buy-in from everyone. He didn't like that. So, but now I know, get everybody's buy-in, see what the vision is, and make your employees know or your stakeholders, here's how me winning gets you to win.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, very good point. Being on the same page with your partner. What about you, Pascal? What are the early mistakes that you think you made, you wish you could have done differently at the early stage?
Well, when I look back when I started and the number of mistakes I made, plenty. Yeah, because, well, me, let's say, being the first generation of African in America, and, well, I can say my kids are first generation or second.
The first generation Americans. You're
Yeah.
first generation immigrant to this country. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it wasn't easy for me to figure out
Right.
how, like, to start, where to start, whom to get along with, and which paperwork to go with. It was hard. But I decided to surround myself with guys who have done it before.
That's the
So
key.
I learned quite a lot from big brothers. Especially, I have one friend I can never miss to mention, Dr. Duke. That guy, well, he saw me and he was like, man, you got potential. You can do this thing. I'm like, yeah, but I don't trust myself. He's like, you can do it. And then he's like, okay, let me show you how it's done. Oh, man. And then we started going back and forth. Well, he had his thing going. He had his own practice. So I was also trying to set up mine. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way. But I just kept on correcting them when I realized that, oh, no, this is not working. This is not working. But, those things break you down. And sometimes you even feel like, no, I can do this. I'm gonna throw everything. Yeah, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna throw everything out of the window. But let me tell you, all those failures kept on fueling my spirit until, when you see you have already started establishing a team, and then sometimes the team is listening to you, sometimes the team is arguing with you, challenging you, and you have to take all that, because all that is a learning process.
Right.
And by the time you monitor, like, let's say you take control of everything, you've landed your plane, it is not easy.
Right.
It is not easy. So mistakes, adding to little experiences, and also now you start creating systems of operations, because those are the ones that are going to save you.
SOPs.
Yeah.
SOPs.
Yeah. So
People get tired of me saying that.
Oh yeah.
Standard operating procedures, baby.
Exactly. Yep.
That might as well be my love language.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. So well, financial stability can come if you have already put all those SOPs
SOPs.
in
Standard
place.
operating
Yeah.
procedures.
Yeah. You'll just see the income rolling in.
Yeah.
And maybe the growth starting to
You see the
increase.
growth before you see the money. Trust me.
Definitely.
Just ask the accountant here. He'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
I only read numbers.
Oh yeah.
I can see a number grow. That's all I know. Yeah. And then I think another thing that I want to add to it, you talk about, mistakes, like having people that you share the same vision with, people who have buy-in into what you're trying to accomplish. And then something that I also want to add is that some of the mistakes that I see people have done and myself have done, we are afraid of surrounding ourselves with people who have done it before, trying to do too much on your own. That's a mistake that some of the new business owners do, because you think like, I'm trying to save money, I'm trying to do this, I'll do everything on my own. And then you might have like access to, you said you had a mentor who was helping you, but you don't have the courage to approach like a big brother to say like, can you just take me under your wings and then maybe just guide me into the process? Maybe if I share that, it's going to know too much about myself. But having the ability, the humility to seek help where it's needed is very important. Because I always tell the smartest people are not the people who know everything. The smartest people are the people who know what they don't know. Because if you know what you don't know, then you'll know where you need to seek help from.
Right.
And that's what
100%.
makes you very strong. Okay. But now moving into the journey of you initiating your business vision to the growth. Because as when you put together a business, the next thing is like, okay, how do we go from there? You want to bring money. And then how do you bring money? You have to find clients, you have to find customers. What was your strategy for growth? Compared to when you started and until where you were like, okay, I want to take my business to this stage where I can start seeing the number growing. What was your marketing strategy that you put in place that can help you grow?
So, before joining the healthcare business, I was working. I remember I got a chance to work for a company. It was a meat processing plant. Mm-hmm. So I remember they had a model, like they could not explain to you everything, but you could just see how the breakdown is of how the operation is, starting from where they prep up to where they take the cattle for cutting, mm-hmm. up to when they freeze them, and then up to when they slash them, like they detail them into pieces, and then they package them, and then they load them up in a truck ready to go out. So that whole process.
Logistics.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's say it tells you how you're supposed to roll. And then after that, I went and worked in a construction company. And that's where I started building my toughness to be like very tough, Resistance. Yes. Let me tell you, under crazy conditions, you have to be out there working. Either snow, either rain, either mud, nobody cared. So that energy, when I started my company, I always say this, I put on my boots. When I want to go look for clients, when I want to go in, let's say in the community or maybe connecting with whoever, anything I do, I always say I'm putting on my tall boots. And I'm going to step everywhere because I don't care. Once
you mean like door to door?
I can do door to door if you want me to. I'm not like a Jehovah Witness, but
spreading the good gospel.
Yeah, but and it reached a moment where now I could not do it myself, and I had guys now helping me, word of mouth, connections. This one brings this one brings this one, like referrals. And then you see something coming up. But before that happens, you have to really push yourself beyond limits. Yeah, you have to have a lot of sleepless nights. A lot. Yeah. But all in all, afterwards, it pays off. Yeah. It pays off because you sit back and watch. You say, yeah, even though there's still some bits here and there, but at least the train hasn't wrecked yet.
Right.
Yeah. It is still moving. Yeah. So as it's moving, mm-hmm. you keep shaping, and you move forward.
I love it.
Yeah.
So like the growth, like did you have any outreach or marketing strategy that you used to help you, grow your client base?
Yeah. So, I did. Me and my wife did it together, and she has a very, very intricate and unique way of networking and marketing. So she doesn't like to do the traditional stuff of going to a networking meeting or going to chambers. Not we won't do that, but you know what she did? And I love that point you were talking about when you were just like really mad and you were like, I really need to do something. It was when I was mopping one account that I had, one. And I was at 2:00 in the morning mopping this place, and I literally was in tears, and I said, a bunch of curse words, and I said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Everybody reaches that moment, and you're like, done.
Yeah, and that's when you find out who you are, because that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So you know what we did? Our largest account yet, the one that got us to where we're at now, I got that maybe a couple of weeks later. And it wasn't going on a networking thing. It was going with a bunch of business people to a holiday party. Mm-hmm. And I don't celebrate holidays, talking about Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not Jehovah's Witness, but I don't celebrate holidays. So it was hard for me. You have to understand, my wife had to cajole me to go to this meeting. But she doesn't go to, official networking. She goes to professionals and hangs around professionals. And so they have a very unique way of marketing. So to answer your question, I'm very systematic. I'm an eMyth person. So what you do is you build it all on paper. Then I did the marketing last. So I built the system, and I built the system to give a promise. And eMyth talks about having a promise. That's your marketing. What's your promise? And you say that promise in 75,000 different ways, right? Another book I highly recommend is called Start with Why. Talk about the golden circle statement, or having your why. And so when you get clear on your why and your brand, what we did for growth is first I got it down to make sure that when it's time to grow, that my team can handle the growth.
Yeah.
SOPs, right? I have the right managers in place. We have the right team leads in place. We have the right standard operating procedures, so that now, for example, when we weren't closing, 2 or 3 accounts residentially before. We weren't closing 1 trailer a week. So we didn't have the bandwidth to handle that. Now I have managers and team leads and assistants in place to do that. So one plan for growth when you start, right? There's another great book. I'm going to talk about books because I'm a book reader. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. And eMyth teaches that. eMyth says the same thing. Have a funeral, that 7 Habits says. Imagine your funeral. And eMyth, you don't want to have people talk about your business. They want to talk about your life. And the only thing you're mentioning in your business is how it gave you more life to do the things that really mattered. So I'm building a business that works that way. I'm not building a business where I'm the Steve Jobs of the world and I'm the face. I don't want to be. Now, if you really want to be the face, then build it that way. I built it to where people think my wife's the owner of the business. I have been sweeping and mopping. They're like, hey, boy, go do this. Yes, sir. They don't know they were talking to the owner. Right? So start it first. So when it's time to, and build it, right? I start with, like, tech companies do beta. Have your beta customers. You don't know what your avatar is. An avatar is an example of what your customer should be. Your best customer, the one that pays on time, the one that pays the way you want to, the one that loves your service, the one that communicates the way you want to, the one that complains the way you want. Everybody complains, but how does your best customers complain, right? So start with that in mind. When you're ready to launch, come up with something that the team can do. Right? Manageable. So I say we're building a marketing machine. Right? That means that the office manager does this. He just posts the regular stuff. We have a salesperson who they know once they grow, they're going to grow into a sales team. I start you off as a team first. Right? I tell this story all the time when everybody's like, oh, we can do anything. We sent men to the moon. You know how we did it? Kennedy just said, we're going to the moon. We're going to compete with the Russians. And everybody stood up. Well, how are we going to do propulsion? You're now in charge of propulsion. Figure it out. How are we going to do communications? You're now in charge of communications. Figure it out. How are we going to do oxygen and food? You're now, right? So what I do now is when you get hired, everybody has a small mission. Even if it's you're going to remember everybody's birthday. You're going to make sure everybody has a birthday. We have QR codes and we scan, and we pride ourselves on doing things tailored to your needs as our residential cleaning. So we have a QR codes for every house now, and it'll tell us all the specifics that's particular to you, right? So that needs to be in place before we grow. Because once we do that, that's hard to do with 50% more customers you had than 2 years ago. Right? And so begin with the end in mind. And then what we did is now we're actually in growth stage now. So now I built a team to handle this. So now I have people door knocking. I have people making phone calls. I have people doing social media. I have people doing follow-up. And I'm building this machine because I want it to drip in every day. I want a new lead every day. Right?
Because you have the infrastructure.
Because I have the infrastructure, right? Once you put your infrastructure in place to handle growth, I think people, maybe they have to do it financially, or maybe they're nervous, or whatever the situation is. But you wanna bring growth. You want to keep growth at bay, because as long as you can, because so many people are so anxious to get to that point where it's like, oh, I got a bunch of leads coming in and I got a bunch of people wanting me. Well, that's fine, but you get that, and next thing you know, your employees are only trained to handle 3 clients a day, and now they have 5.
Yeah.
Now those last 2 have not been served well, and now you got a bad review.
Yep.
Now you got 2 less people talking about it. And what people understand is this: referrals, one bad thing gets a person telling 10 people. One good thing gets them telling 3.
Yep.
So I always remember that. If you do one thing bad, they're telling 10 of their friends.
Yep.
And I don't care if you think, oh, it's the hermit that doesn't talk to anybody. Hermit's got friends that go to call and complain. Right? But if you do something great, you're going to tell 3. Well, those 3, out of those 3, one is going to say, oh, maybe I'll use you. Right? So I say, build your infrastructure first, kill it with the customers you have, then say, okay, we know we can deliver. We know we have things in place to take the volume. Now we'll build the growth machine and go into growth mode, right? Then we can handle the surplus. We can handle the traffic. We can handle the problems. You're going to get new problems coming in. You're going to get new offers. You're going to be tested and pushed your boundaries on what your business limits are. So you want that infrastructure first.
Yep. Very good point. And I really like that quote, because I always tell people the key with growth is when you start a new business, as soon as you have 1 or 2 clients, you should treat those first 2 clients as the basis for your growth. Because if you deliver good on those clients, like you said, they might tell 2, 3 people about you. And then when I first started my business 5 years ago, I didn't really have a very active, proactive marketing machine. It was like word of mouth. I do something good with one client, they go tell another client. And then these clients kept bringing me clients because, oh, I had a good experience. And also, do not overcommit. It might sound good. Someone comes and goes, hey, Anthony, I want you to take on a payroll or a bookkeeping for our company. But if I know that I won't be able to do it by October, even if that's what you ask, I will not commit to that. Because if I fail, you're gonna go tell it to 10 people.
Exactly.
So if I have to say,
I've learned that one.
yeah, and I don't want you to go tell that story to 10 more people. I'd much rather miss out on that money and tell you that I can do it, but let's do it in January. I will be able to onboard your company in January.
Right.
I might miss out on 3 months of income, but I would much rather have that and then commit to something that I can deliver. So I think treating your customer that you have well is a very effective marketing tool for growth. It's passive, yes.
Can I say something on that? My wife, and I know some other people, they have a word of mouth system. A lot of people think that word of mouth is a passive thing. I'm just going to take care of them. There's things you can do. You can give them, hey, a punch card. You could say, if you tell your friends, I'll do this. You can say, we love reviews. You know, you can't offer to pay for a review anymore, but you can just say, hey, if you give us a review, we can do this or add that, or we really appreciate it. Or you can just say, hey, it really helps me if you tell your family and friends, because I don't want to spend any of my marketing dollars on getting new clients. I want to spend that on you. Right? So I highly recommend. Now, some businesses you have to market because it's a transactional business, right? But with me, I want an accountant that I like. I want a CPA that, I call you a lot. And I don't want you to be like, oh, here's this fool. Oh, wife, is there something else I need to do so I can tell him I couldn't answer the phone? I don't want that. So I want to treat my people well. I want them to be able to answer my phone. And when I have a business where it's word of mouth, and my business it's all about word of mouth, I want to be able to deliver on that in a way that customer really likes. Here's another thing. We will, as customers, moonwalk our way into not being happy. In other words, if I say, I really need you now, and you're like, if I take you now, I'm not going to give you great service. I don't care. I really need you now. And you fold, they're not going to remember that they pushed you into doing the job. Once you mess up, it's going to be, well, you said you could do it.
Yep.
No, I told you that I really couldn't do it. I'm doing you a favor. well, I don't care. You messed it up. And now you know this. And now you owe me this. And now I'm pissed off. And now I didn't tell you this, but my grandmother's uncle's cousin was coming into town and I really needed to impress him. And now I'm pissed off. Well, you should have told me that. So now it's like you said, you need to know what your capacity is. Don't overcommit and make sure that you can keep the promises of your marketing machine. And that's where you go back to your infrastructure, because if you don't know how many clients you can handle, then your customer will moonwalk his way into being upset with you. And I have to understand that. Like, there's things I might want. And as a customer, I don't know how it works for this product or service. I just know what I want. I know what it means to be happy. I know the results I want. And I don't know what he has to deal with. And I don't really care, because I got crap I got to deal with. And so I need to rely on him to tell me, I'm sorry, Mr. Customer, I can't do what you're asking of now. Like you said, maybe in the start of the year, because we're at the fiscal end of the year and I'm slammed, right? Or us, this is our holiday season. We got people worried about Thanksgiving family members coming in. We don't have the capacity to do that, sir. Sorry. I'll try to have other partners to refer you to, right? But if I take that client on, and I've seen it 1,000 times. They have no problem saying you are terrible, and I'm going to give you a 1-star review. And they're not going to accidentally forget the part of, I forced him into this. He told me I didn't have the capacity. He was doing me a favor. He wanted to take care of me. And then I turned it around.
Exactly. And they're going to tell 10 people about that.
of how bad you did.
And
they're not going to tell the whole part about you told them, I can't really do this for you. I'm doing you a favor. So be understanding. No, I don't want to be understanding now. Now it's time to give you a 1-star review.
Very, very, very good, important thing. I think we're getting close to the end of our conversation. So we talk about the growth. I mean, it's very important to have growth, vision, and target, but also having an infrastructure that will be ready to accommodate the growth, so that you can keep customer happy no matter how much you grow into your business. Do you have anything else to add about like growth and infrastructure? As you have been, I would consider yourself successful in your own lane. What advice would you have for a young entrepreneur who would like to embark in this journey? What is a piece of advice?
I'll start with you.
Okay. So Anthony Robbins said one thing, and I've lived by this. He said, success leaves clues. I have a thing that I live by, which is what I call my love's expression. And that is kind of like the nexus of what I'm good at, what I'm skilled at, what my vision is, and where I stand in that vision. And my mentality is, there's only one thing I need to learn, and why I'm here on this planet. Everybody else has figured the rest out, right? If you want to start a business, somebody's figured out how to figure out what that business should be. Once you start it, somebody's figured out how you should start from the beginning to the end. Somebody's figured out how to market. Somebody's figured out accounting. Somebody's figured out all those things. My biggest thing is read, have mentors, go see examples. I had a commercial cleaning mentor. He's very popular. Very popular and successful, because he played for Boise State in this valley. And he sat me down and he gave me a lot of great tools on what to do. And like you said, I probably read a book a week now. I take months off sometimes, but I read a book a week. I would recommend 4 books for anybody who's going to start a business. 1, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to 100%. Teach you how to think about business and money. 100%. Second, I would read Start With Why, to teach you how to touch people's hearts and minds, scientifically so. We listen to their why. We're listening to connect. We buy based on our emotions. We justify with logic. The third one I would say is anything written by Stephen Covey. First, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but he has other books like The Principle-Centered Life, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, all of those books. And then the last one, I would read anything from Jim Collins, who wrote Good to Great, Great by Choice, How the Mighty Fall. All of those books is a Stanford scientific research team that he took from Stanford and started a business. And all he does is research excellence in business, and he writes books to share it with you. You don't need to, and then E-Myth, I'm sorry, if that's 5. E-Myth, because you want to build your business. Even if you don't build it as a franchise, you want to build it like a franchise. Like, you know every single thing that works. And when you educate yourself, when you run into challenges, I read Rich Dad. What did it say? Pay my advisors well. I call Anthony all the time. I call my CPA all the time. I call my CFO all the time. I call my business mentors and coaches all the time, right? I have tools in my toolbox that I don't even need yet because of the reading that I did. So I would say prepare yourself by reading, getting mentors. Don't take too long because you don't want analysis paralysis, right?
Oh, yeah.
Find out what you need and then move to the next level. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Very wise advice. Pascal, what would be an advice you will give for inspiring entrepreneur?
My advice for young and aspiring entrepreneurs would be the secret is not about starting. The secret is about getting started. Because starting, you will hear starting all the time. Everybody says, I want to start this. I want to start this. I want to start this. But that is how you will be just getting confused year in, year out.
Talking about it.
You're talking about it. Or maybe you don't know what it takes to start. You don't want to make let's say, research about something that you want to start. So you'll be just talking about it. But when you want to start something, have all your materials prepared. Know exactly what is needed before you start that business. And then start. The secret is to start. Like, just start. But don't just start. Get to know exactly why, as you said. And then analyze, let's say, what you want to do. Your struggle should really resonate with yourself, with your self-conviction. And you got to know what I'm doing. Is it coming from my heart, or I'm just doing it because somebody else is doing it?
Or chasing money.
Or you're just chasing money.
Right.
Yes. Because if you're chasing money and you don't have passion for it, you won't do it. For me, I would say I had passion in that because I love helping people. And I was like, the best way to do it is to start something in order to help people. And I really feel so happy when I see somebody is being helped, you know?
I would say probably mental health for you is very satisfying too, because you know, like I've studied with mental health. A lot of people have. I've really found EMDR is a great resource, and helping people find ways to pay for that and get the resources they need. It seems that would be very fulfilling, right?
Oh, yeah.
To know that, okay, I helped a family find a counselor and maybe save their marriage, or somebody from committing suicide, or somebody believing in themselves finally. That must be really rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. I can tell you, they're like life stories.
Yeah.
You change people's life.
But you know what? Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't work. But you got to just keep moving, you know? And my advice will just be that, you know, make a good research before you start and let your heart decide. Don't just follow the line, you know? Because if you just say, okay, this one is doing this, I'm also going to do it, you don't know how he's doing it.
Right.
Or you don't know how they did it.
Or maybe they're in a great position to do it and you weren't. Maybe they got connections you don't have, right? Like,
Or maybe they opened some doors that you did not even know,
Right.
you know? So it's always get to know first. Have those mentors, as you said. And, document yourself.
yes.
Document yourself. I love the way you read books, man. I think I got to go jump into that style.
Yeah.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. He recommended me that book, but I was like, oh no, I already read it.
I think I read like 1 or 2 chapters of it, but I have to go and get it again.
I won't use a CPA or a real estate agent who hasn't read that book.
Okay. So it was like a test.
It wasn't a test. If you would have said, oh, yeah, I will look into it,
Oh, yeah.
I would have been like, okay. The fact that you said I already read it, okay, you're hired. But I'd love to hear from the CPA. What do you think is the best way to...
Yep. I think for someone who needs to start a business, you have to think about the end goal first. Where are we trying to get? Because as you know your end goal, then you can do a backward mapping to your end goal. And then the end goal is pretty much like you have to have a vision. What is my vision? So that's number one. Number two, now that you have a vision, you have to work on an implementation plan. Implementation plan means first you need to look for the information. How do you look for information? Today we live in a world where internet has blessed us with so much information out there. You can teach, you can educate yourself, but that's not enough, because if you just educate yourself, you can also misinterpret certain things that you read. Surround yourself with good people.
Right.
Having a mentor who can guide you, whatever business you're working on. I know for your healthcare company, you had some mentor who help you. Same thing for a business. People who have done it could talk to you, even if it's not going to be like, a mentor who will stay with you for the entire journey, but at least like the early conversation to at least have a sense of what it could imply being a business owner in that field. And then as you have the vision, you have an implementation plan, you seek for the information, then you can come up with a clear plan of like, this is what I'm going to operate. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Last final advice. I asked you an interesting question at the beginning. How does it feel that you don't have to clock in and clock out? It feels great, right?
Yes.
But some people think like, if you become a business owner, it means, okay, I'm not going to clock in and clock out, and I'm going to work less. That's not the case.
Actually, you work twice.
You work more, right? As a business owner, you work more.
Yeah, I'm working now. It's a Sunday.
Exactly.
I told you I move with my office everywhere.
Yeah. Your phone could be your office.
Yes. Yeah.
So, if you're doing it because you're trying to avoid having to work, maybe that's not fair. You're gonna end up working more. You have to be someone who likes working. That's the only way your business could take off, if you have a good vision and good implementation plan. So that's my advice.
Great.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. So we own Button Babes Household Services. Is my wife, Carissa Horton. She's been in the Valley for 10 years. We are residential cleaning, and we do everything from cleaning, organizing, move out cleans. We work really great with agents. We can also, if you like to, do a clean and pay it close, we do that. Also, the Meridian Cleaning and Janitorial is our commercial end. We do everything commercial from, new building maintenance to construction cleanup to that. And then we also have just recently bought into a power washing company, Shinoda Power, where we do power washing. We do window cleaning and gutter cleaning and walkway cleaning. And then I was a podcast productions company. But one thing I pride myself in is you can only do one good thing once. So we have an office manager for Shinoda Power. We have an office manager for Meridian Cleaning. And we have an office manager for Button Babes. They focus on that. So we don't have somebody kind of confused about commercial and residential or what's this, what's that, and
It's structured.
It's structured, right? And
that.
we have people that love doing what they're doing at the head of that. I support them by bringing a great team. And the podcast productions is not something that's new. It's kind of a side hustle that I do. It's just getting things off the ground and building the foundation. But it's called Siren Media Productions. You can find us online. We're not 100%. We're at beta stage. So we're taking new clients for beta, either free or much more discounted, to get feedback. And you understand that we're going to be making mistakes and bringing our expertise and working with you. So, yeah, that's what we do.
Wow. LeBron, dang. Today we had a very good conversation.
I really enjoyed
I really enjoyed
talking
it
with you
too.
guys.
Yeah, I enjoyed everything we shared today, man. I'm just sucking all in. Yeah. So Anthony, do you want to close what you do? I'll be the last.
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for taking time for this conversation, because I'm a CPA. I'm in a great position where I see a lot of business. And then sometimes I'm like, we have a client CPA relationship where I cannot be talking about your
Right.
business to people.
Right.
But at some point I was like, some of your experience will be good to share,
Right.
to encourage people out there who wants to try this. That's so that you can show them that it is possible. You can start a business in less than 3 years, turn it into a big operating machine.
Right.
It's possible, and I've seen it, and then I really thank you for at least having the courage to and the willingness to share your experience with everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will be able to inspire some.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm available. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to Anthony, or you can find, you can reach out online on some of our businesses. And I love helping people. We were talking offline, how many people helped me? Mentors, people who paved the way for me. This Treasure Valley has opened their hearts and minds to me. They've been extremely welcoming and good people to me, and I want to serve these people. And the way I can give back is if you want to do this, and you come from, we could talk about my story. I come from a really tough background, gangs and violence and just bad opportunities, and I was able to get out of that and live this life. And the best thing I can do is thank God by giving it back to anybody who wants to live the kind of life that we do.
Yep. And then another thing also is that, as I told you, I'm an accountant. I own my own CPA firm, AMM Accounting Solution. You are two of my clients. But the benefits of having multiple entrepreneurs, what does it mean? It's more clients for me.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right. So we all win.
Right.
All right.
All right, guys. So you can imagine what we are cracking here on this table today. Bright minds are right here. And this is Green Lights Nation, because we want to bring a lot of green lights. Let's say good energy.
Yes.
And we want to make sure everybody feels that pumped energy and say, "Oh man, if these brothers are doing it, what about me?"
Trust me, if I could do it, you can do it.
Yes, definitely.
A little knucklehead kid from LA trying to get out of gangs.
What about me, who comes from nothing?
From
nothing
another
in Africa,
country, right? Right.
Yeah. And we're telling these stories because Idaho has given us a good standing point.
Yes.
And it's safe.
Yes.
The people are beautiful. People are nice.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And we love living here. And we see our life past what everybody sees.
Right.
Whenever they want to, let's say someone wants to picture you in a certain way, or maybe put you in a bracket.
A box.
A box. Yeah. For me, man, I'm an octopus. I don't fit in a box.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I just get out.
Exactly. I tell people, if you put me in a box, I'll do something stupid just to get out of it, because I hate boxes, right? I had a friend joke with me the other day. He was like, "It's really cool to see a black guy that swims." I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that."
Oh, you know what? Oh man, this was great, guys. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you all. Yeah, so we are closing this thing. Guys, let's catch up soon. Please send all your questions, and on the next episode, we shall answer all your questions. Thank you.